The White House press spokesman went on MSNBC and he answered some questions about Yemen collapsing. Let's watch.
I'll put you on the spot here. Is Yemen still a success story? Can you say that?
Yemen has for years been a chaotic situation.
But is it a success story?
And it is a country that continues to be very dangerous because they do not have the same kind of government structures in place that allow for a country to function. And what we know, and this has happened in the past, and we know that it's happening now, that there are certain extremist groups that have designs on attacking the West that try to take advantage of this, that try to insert themselves in that chaos.
Clearly, that's what happened. So should we dial back on the words that it is a success story when you have the president fleeing on a boat?
Well, Mika, we need to separate out two things here. The measure of the U.S. policy should not be graded against the success or the stability of the Yemeni government. That's a separate enterprise. And the goal of U.S. policy toward Yemen has never been to try to build a Jeffersonian democracy there. The goal of U.S. policy in Yemen is to make sure that Yemen cannot be a safe haven that extremists can use to attack the West and to attack the United States. And that involves trying to build up the capacity of the government to help us in that fight. And there is no doubt that we would prefer a situation where there is a stable government, where there is a place where U.S. personnel could operate inside of Yemen, could coordinate directly with Yemeni security forces to take the fight to these extremists. But the fact is, even though U.S. personnel is no longer in Yemen, the United States continues to have the capacity and resources and reach to be able to take strikes when necessary against extremists that are operating in
Josh, how when you have the embassy closed, the Americans have left, you have the parliament that has been dissolved, you have the president fleeing on a boat, maybe toward Djibouti, you have so many less possibilities for intelligence on the ground, how can you say that we're still in a counter-terrorist situation there?
Well,
and the opening that's created for AQAP in this chaotic situation.
Again, Chris, we would much rather be in a situation where there is a stable central government that could actively support our ongoing efforts and in a way that would allow U.S. personnel to remain in the country. But given the situation you have now, Josh, what can the United States do in terms of counterterrorist strategy in Yemen?
Here's how I would have answered those questions. When they say, is Yemen a success story, I'd say, no. But what should we do? What's your policy proposal? What's your idea? Now, of course, they're alluding to the fact that President Obama said a while back Yemen is a success story. Well, it's clear that Yemen is not a success story. It's not stable. But that's fine. The response is, no, it's not. You're right. But what should we do? What do you want to do? Because the implication of what they're saying is what? We should get more involved and we should have put troops on the ground and we should have been able to stop this. And blah, 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 blah. But why? Why should... So... Because some place may collapse at some point in the future, we should invade that place to prevent that from happening? Well, by that logic, aren't there like 32 other countries that we should invade right now just to prevent them from maybe collapsing at some point down the road? Again, I'm not saying Yemen is a success story. In fact, it's obviously the opposite. But my point is, should we really care that it's not a success story? And then Earnest made a good point when he said, well, the main goal here is to what? Protect America, right? Has any American died because of what's happening in Yemen right now? No. Okay, so then why are we having this conversation as if, the sky is falling? I mean, it's so arrogant. It's so arrogant for the line of questioning from the media to be, something bad happened somewhere. Obviously, America should get involved, and we all agree, right? No, we don't. No, we don't. As I've said time and time again with Afghanistan and Iraq, for example, I never argued that, hey, when we pull the troops out, it's going to be a utopia over there. No. My argument was, either way, whether it turns out better or worse, and it probably is going to go to shit, we should still pull the troops out. Why? Because it's none of our business what happens over there. And if they start fighting each other, it is what it is. I mean, does that make me callous? Does that make me an asshole? Maybe, but at the same time, I just don't want blood on our guys' hands. I don't want to be too involved in a place that has nothing to fucking do with us. But it's the arrogance, that imperialist do-gooder mindset of like, something bad's happening in Yemen. Why couldn't we stop it? We're so special and we couldn't stop it. We should have done more. When they mention, this is the most telling part. At the end there, they mention, well, isn't al-qaeda a concern? Now we should be concerned about al-qaeda in the region. Yeah, but wait a second. The people who took over the government were Shias. They were Houthi rebels. So if your concern is, we just don't want al-Qaeda to get a stronghold in the region, then wouldn't you be in favor of the Shia Houthi rebels taking over? Because the Shias are not al-Qaeda. The Sunnis are al-Qaeda, the Sunni fundamentalists.